Apple obviously got their intern to design this on their first day. Who designed this? Hi YouTube. You're watching my channel, Aesthetic Academic. My name is Aashima and I'm a medical student that loves fashion, and I also love pondering the philosophical quandary of aesthetics. Welcome to my video about what iPad you should buy when you are broke. I use broke as a term of endearment, so congratulations on being here, my fellow broke students. Being broke is awesome. You get to learn about resilience and you get to learn to be resourceful and you learn to be creative in so many different ways, and I just think it's great character building and I love it. You don't want to be hot in high school, right? Because then you've got your whole life to go downhill. I love being broke now because there's only one way to go. Like, I can't really go down from here, it's only up. So that's another reason that being broke is sick. This is baby Willow. She just woke up from a little nap, and her and I are going to do a study with me video in the next few days. So subscribe if you want to be around for that one, because it should be pretty cute. So in the first part of the video, I'm going to quickly talk about why I think tablets are such a good learning tool. Then I'm going to move on to why the Apple tablet in particular I recommend. And then I'll be discussing what iPad I have and what iPad I recommend that you buy. So if you just want to skip straight to that part, if you're already sold on the iPad, then go to this timestamp and that will be where the meat of the video is. So before I bought my tablet, I was doing all my notes by hand in a notebook. I had a laptop, but I didn't really use it because I knew that the benefits of handwriting far surpass typing notes. You learn stuff a lot better and you process information better when you're writing it out by hand. But then again, it does take a lot of paper and a lot of space, and you have to remember to bring the right book. And then if you've got lecture notes that you want to write on, it all becomes a bit too hard. So that's where the iPad is perfect, because you get to handwrite everything and get that benefit of learning through handwriting, but it's also much easier to organize your notes and to have them all at the touch of a button. So that's why I recommend the iPad over a computer. Secondly, there's so many fun and productive ways to procrastinate on an iPad. For example, when I've watched a few lectures and I'm getting a bit tired and a bit bored of doing that, then I will open up a drawing app and start drawing out my anatomy drawings or tracing over them. And that's really fun. Like, I really enjoy doing that, and it feels like a break, but I'm still kind of learning. So yeah, it's great. Even my off time is productive. I also love how easy it is on an iPad to nurture your creative side. I'm not an artist, but I do like art and I do appreciate design and color, and it just makes it so accessible to someone like myself. All of the functions are very intuitive, unlike a computer program where you need to sort of know the shortcuts and there's a learning curve. There's not really a learning curve on the iPad, or it's a very steep one. I learned the other day actually that a steep learning curve, as we say it doesn't actually make sense, because if it was a steep learning curve, then you would learn it all very quickly and then you would know it. So actually a shallow learning curve would be the challenging one. So, fun fact of the day, it is a steep learning curve in that you learn everything very quickly and then you know how to use the program, which is awesome. It's also great how easy it is to carry around with you all over the place. The best device is the one you use. So I love that I can just, disconnect the keyboard, carry it around, watch stuff while I'm doing my makeup, like listen to half a lecture that I haven't quite understood while I'm in the kitchen. And it's just great that I can use it very easily and it's fun to use every time. Why I recommend the Apple iPad versus any of the other tablets right now, even though I'm not an Apple fangirl at all, I would actually probably class myself as an Apple cynic, because I do a lot of things that really annoy me. Like, for example, when I was on the Apple website the other day doing research for this video, I was reading their descriptions on their old products. They were referring to their products that were 5 years old as their vintage products. So basically, to make their planned obsolescence sound sweeter, they had redefined the word vintage to be 5 years. Like, 5 years is not vintage. Anyway, they do a lot of stuff that annoys me. Dongles. But they do have wonderful, wonderful, wonderful battery life. Like, I can use my iPad all day from like 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and it'll last. And secondly, they don't crash, which is incredible. Like, Those two things they have worked out to a T, and they're really important in a tablet, so that's why it's still worth investing in an Apple product even though they do some weird dodgy things. So now to the point in the video that you came here for. What iPad do I have and what iPad do I recommend that you buy? The short answer to this question is a second-hand one. I myself have the first generation iPad Pro 12.9 inch with the smart keyboard that comes like this. And then I also have this leather slip and the Apple Pencil. And all of this together I bought for $770 last year. And for your reference, if you went to an Apple store today and bought the iPad Pro brand new and the keyboard and a case, which you need, and a pencil, that would cost you about $2,600. So it was about a quarter of the price of a new kit. You know you're broke when you put 2 screen protectors on your tablet because you're so broke that you can't afford to replace it if it breaks, and then you're doomed. So the thing that makes the iPad such a great learning device is the Apple Pencil. Like, you don't want to get an Apple iPad without the pencil if you're getting it for uni. So that's why you need to get an iPad that's compatible with the Apple Pencil 1. The Apple Pencil 2 is only compatible with the iPad Pro 3 and 4, which is just well out of your price range, so just don't even think about it. And I think the cost benefit isn't there either. Like, the Apple Pencil 2 is around the $220 mark, and this one, the Apple Pencil 1, is about $100. And the Apple Pencil 2, it doesn't actually write much better than this one. The writing experience with this is great. I think the Apple Pencil 2 is supposed to be marginally better, but I went to the store and I tried them both out and I didn't really notice a difference. And the Apple Pencil 2 is magnetic, but it also costs more than double of what this costs. So yeah, I just don't get it. I don't really think it's worth it at all. The only other good thing about the Apple Pencil 2 over the Apple Pencil 1 is that the Apple Pencil 2 charges by magnets on the iPad and the Apple Pencil 1 does not. The Apple Pencil 1 charges like this, which is one of the most unaesthetic things that I've ever seen in my life. But aside from being an ungodly thing to behold, it's actually not that annoying because it's really, really quick to charge. I use my iPad all day, I study all the time, and it's actually never been an issue for me. So apart from being ugly, it's not really a problem. So the Apple Pencil 1 is only compatible with a few iPads, and an easy process of elimination at this step is, if you're getting it for uni, then you want to get the biggest screen that you possibly can, because split screen is going to be your bestie. I use split screen all of the time. I have my lectures open on one side and then I've got my notes open on the other, and I still have a nice big view of both of them. Like, when I split screen and have my lectures on this side, this screen is about the size of my phone, so it's like watching your phone on landscape, which is like enough to understand the detail that's going on there. Anything smaller, I know I wouldn't like it because I like having space and being able to visualize things properly. And most people are like that. Another thing that you need to be aware of when you're buying a secondhand iPad is the planned obsolescence of Apple. Not that there's like a wide announcement that they're going to make products redundant, but historically after 6 years, they stop updating the operating systems and putting out updates that'll be compatible with their older products. So you just have to be aware of that. And if you're someone who doesn't believe in planned obsolescence, then wake up. There has been planned obsolescence since the time of the light bulb. The first light bulb that Thomas Edison invented was too good, so they made it worse to sell so that we would buy more. So it's just another factor that you have to consider when you're buying something secondhand. So the first generation iPad is up to 4 years and 4 months of the predicted 6-year obsolescence. And not that it will completely stop working after that, it might start to slow down after that. And I don't know about the iPad Pros because this is the first one. I don't know if they're gonna hopefully have a longer period that they'll be alive for, but it's a gamble. So I'm just gonna have to feel it out and hopefully it lasts more than the next year and a half. Which is why if you are buying an iPad now, I recommend that you get the iPad Pro 2 12.9 inch. The iPad Pro 2 is now 2 years and 9 months old. So it's still got at least 3 years before it's going to kick the bucket. And it's going to like be around the $700-800 mark right now with all the accessories. So that's why that's going to be a really good purchase. The only other iPad in the contest is the iPad Air 3. And that's just going to end up being like quite a bit more expensive. Just the iPad itself from Apple, I think if you want one with any sort of memory on it, is $1,000 plus accessories. So that stuff adds up and the performance will be very comparable. I think the iPad Pro actually has more RAM than the iPad Air, which is another reason that I got it. RAM is like I don't really know what RAM is though. I thought I was gonna be able to explain that. But I just knew that to edit videos, you wanted something with more RAM. So that's why I wanted the Pro, because I edit videos on it. And look, I edit all my videos on this thing, the first generation iPad Pro. I do all my work and it is not a second slow. So if you're just doing like regular stuff, like writing notes, going on Google, it's gonna be perfect. So to do a quick cost benefit analysis to really drum this point home, if you went into a store today and you bought an iPad Pro 12.9 inch with the accessories that you need, you know, the case and a pencil, it would cost you $2,600 divided by the planned obsolescence period of 6 years if you had it for that long, $433 a year. And now, if you bought a second-hand iPad for $800, and then divided by 3 years, if it lasted you another 3 years, it would cost you $266 a year. So not only would your upfront cost be less than if you bought a new iPad, the cost over time would be less as well. You'd be paying less money over time for the same products. So it's a win-win situation. Please don't be stupid when you're buying something secondhand. If it's got dents everywhere, the screen's cracked, don't buy it. Try to look for something that is perfect condition on the exterior. And then it's likely going to be in fine mechanical order. So definitely check and make sure that it's fine physically, not something that's been dropped and not looked after. So in summary, buy a secondhand iPad. I recommend the iPad Pro 2 12.9 inch, but anything with a big screen is good. When you purchase it, look at it and make sure it's physically fine. And lastly, look after your items and put a screen protector on it. That is going to really increase the lifespan of your device. And if you broke, you don't want to break your shit and then, you know, not eat for a week. So please do that. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more from me, please like and subscribe to my channel. That way I know that you're enjoying the content. And I will see you next week with a study with me and Willow. So hopefully you will feel less isolated in this isolation because I'm definitely going crazy. Thanks for watching.